Coming up in this video, my top podcasts to help improve your life. Hey everybody, it's Kalymnios here from thethoughtgym.com, here helping you become that superhuman leader that I know that you can be, giving you everything you need to take your life to a whole new level. This month, slightly unusually, I'm just going to do a kind of a top 5 of my favourite podcasts that I listen to pretty much every single episode, and maybe a couple of other podcasts as well that really are on my list, my favourites list that I listen to as well. What are podcasts, first of all? They're effectively like mini radio stations. It's a bit like having a YouTube channel. You can have your own podcast station. You can interview people, you can speak your mind effectively. You build an audience just like you do anywhere else. And you can listen to it on your phone via the iTunes podcast app, or for me, I'm on Android at the moment, and I'm listening to it via Stitcher, which is an app, a free app that you install, and effectively you can, let me see if I can show you, you can save all your podcasts. It's a bit blurry there, but these are all different podcasts, and you can divide them up into, ones which are health related, personal development related, chat, interests. So some of the ones that I listen to all the time. Number one, my go-to, I've given it to you before, is the Model Health Show, hosted by Sean Stevenson, all around health, well-being, vitality, mindset, things that I'm interested in, things that I like sharing. One of my places of resources for information, amongst other things. So that's the Model Health Show. The other one that I really like is about energy, vitality, motivation, is also Zestology by a friend of mine, Tony Wrighton. Has great interview skills, great interviewees on his podcast, and again, one I listen to religiously. A couple of other ones that I've been really getting into recently is the one called Becoming a Superhuman, which of course I'm going to be interested in that. A friend of mine put me onto that. Can't believe I didn't find it on my own, but that's why we need friends, can help show us new things and books and ideas. I love that. It's got all similar guests from across a lot of these podcasts. You'll find that some of these guests do the podcast rounds, and you'll have heard them many times before, but I think it's a good thing. A, they'll say something different, but B, even if they're saying the same thing, it might resonate with you in a different way. So that's Becoming a Superhuman. The other one I really like is the yoga podcast with Lucas Rockwood. Don't have to be into yoga to like this in any way, shape or form. Again, this is more about health and well-being, something obviously I'm passionate about and I love listening to and learning from. So they're kind of like thought around health and well-being. The other ones that I think are worth checking out for sure, a friend of mine has got one called Hardcore MBA, which is all around entrepreneurs really, and how do you start your company, your venture, so that you can build it successfully. So he interviews some really interesting people you may not have heard of, but have actually had amazing success, and also quite people you would have heard of. Like maybe if you're into podcasts, you'd have heard of John Lee Dumas, one of his interviewees, because John Lee Dumas has got a podcast, another one that I listen to quite a lot, which is Entrepreneur on Fire. So Hardcore MBA and Entrepreneur on Fire, they're all around building your businesses, the success stories, the stories of people that have succeeded in business. So they're two I love. The other ones I love in terms of chat, general interest, London Real kind of got me into podcasts in the first place. Love that one. Brian Rose hosts that. It's a YouTube channel as well. Worth checking out. Really nice guy. I've met him a couple of times. And another great one, the TED Radio Hour. So that kind of condenses all these amazing TED Talks, snippets of them, and puts them together in like a half an hour, hour-long format, interviews with the speakers, and compiles them all under one kind of heading, one subject. So you get 3 or 4 different highlights of TED Talks in one go. Absolutely interesting and fascinating. What else have we got that I like? Bulletproof Radio, again, kind of health, personal development style, mainly health, biohacking, that kind of thing. Dave Asprey, very interesting guests on there, and the Tim Ferriss Show as well. Tim Ferriss, obviously a guru for many, want to be entrepreneurs, and great guests on his show, including people like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Foxx. So really interesting people on that. But the ones I listen to absolutely without fail, like I said, Zestology, the Model Health Show, and now starting to be Becoming a Superhuman and the Yoga Podcast. The other ones, when I've got time, I dip into those as well. Plenty more on here, but that's enough for now. full list in the description box below. Okay, what do you think? What do you think of podcasts? Let me know some cool podcasts that you might think I'm interested in. You know me by now, you've watched my stuff, you've read my blog, hopefully, you've looked at the things I'm interested in. What podcast do you recommend to me? Let me know below, I'd love to hear from you. Until next week, remember to subscribe to this channel for more information, more ideas to help you become superhuman. Until then, take care, stay strong, stay super. Bye-bye.